First at 6, new information and a 7 on your side news alert that we first broke at 5 o'clock. A house of worship trashed with swastikas and symbols of hate.
Within the last few minutes, we've gotten our first look at these painted satanic messages covering this upstate church sanctuary. This disturbing crime happened at Buffalo United Methodist Church on Hill Street in Buffalo in Union County. 7 on your side's Drew Smith just spoke to the sheriff. Drew is live now with new information. So Drew, what's the latest?
Well, Tom and Amy, the sheriff is out here. He just spoke with us about this crime. He's putting a lot of resources into it. He says hate crimes will not be tolerated in Union County. And of course, there is a lot of attention on hate crimes in Union County because of the last few weeks. And the 2 people charged in a double murder here, investigators say, had links to hate groups. Well, since 5 o'clock, we were allowed inside this church where, again, there is offensive scenes. On the back wall of the main sanctuary, you're going to see swastikas, other hate symbols. We were led downstairs by the pastor as well, and you're going to see torn up Bibles, ripped apart chairs as well. There was also graffiti all over the place. The sheriff, again, already hearing from a lot of his people out here because of that attention on hate crimes.
The neo-Nazi sayings, neo-Nazi quotes, Hitler, all of that, you know, you don't know if right now, we don't, if it's some type of copycat or it's part of the same ordeal that happened last week. So we're looking into that possibility.
And it wasn't just Union County deputies inside this church. There were also state investigators. They have some more advanced forensic equipment, so they were combing that church for clues. They're really hoping to catch the people responsible. But as of now, whoever is responsible is still on the loose. Live in Buffalo tonight, I'm Drew Smith, 7 on your side.
All right, Drew, thanks for that. Now, we've also dug into the possible penalties for these crimes. Malicious injury to a place of worship is a felony charge. If convicted, you can face up to 10 years in prison or a $10,000 fine or both.
Now another 7 on your side news alert and a story that we were the only ones to bring you at 5 o'clock. We've been working the phones and we have confirmed 2 people arrested in this week's nationwide sex trafficking roundup are from Greenville. This is video from the FBI sting. 7 on your side's Graham Moore has been digging on this all day. He's joining us now with new information. Graham.
And Amy, we talked at 5 o'clock. Since then, we've been able to get the mug shots of these suspects from Greenville. Both of them charged with human trafficking. Both of them, according to these jail records, are locked up tonight in Alabama, where they were arrested earlier in this week. Here's what I do know. Jermaine Williams and Veronica Melvin face 2 counts of human trafficking and 2 counts of promoting prostitution. They are from Greenville, but went down in a bust in Jefferson County, Alabama. That's near Birmingham. It was all part of the FBI's big raid over the weekend, where 150 pimps across 76 cities were arrested and 105 children were recovered, all of them having been forced into the sex trade. Experts say the average age children enter is about 12 to 14 years old. Most of them are pimped out on websites like this one, Backpage.com. Most of the trade run at hotels and motels, especially near interstates, because the experts say the traffickers like to move their victims in between larger cities. If you're like me, you may have thought a child who's trafficked into the sex trade got there after being abducted. Well, that may happen some of the time, but experts say the majority, well, it happens through just coercion.
The child feels such a great sense of loyalty to the pimp because the pimp is the one that has provided for them, has given them food, has given them clothing, has given them shelter, has given them affection, and they have this tremendous sense of loyalty, and so they stay with the pimp.
A lot of good information from Dr. Diane Dane there. Back to this tie to the upstate. My colleague Rachel Kent is also working the story of the 2 suspects from Greenville. She's going by that house tonight, talking with police, going deeper with the details, trying to get all of that information new for you tonight, coming up at 10 and 11. Amy?
All right, Graham, thanks. Now, South Carolina passed a human trafficking law last year. It gives law enforcement some more tools to try to fight this problem. The bill also established a task force. It's headed by the state attorney general's office, which today told us that the task force is still in its infancy, but they're trying to identify the problems and come up with a plan to combat human trafficking.
New details tonight about a deadly shooting and crash at a local nightclub. We've just checked with deputies in the last 10 minutes. They say it's going to take more time than they planned to go over the evidence. Investigators hope to wrap up by tomorrow, but say that won't be the case. According to the Anderson County Sheriff's Office, a security guard shot and killed India Lomax, who then crashed her vehicle into a pole. They say they found 11 bullet holes in the back of the truck. The use of deadly force is something all certified armed security guards are trained in, and most companies add additional training.
Then we add in something that's called field of fire. If you get in a situation where it's a potential shooting situation, before a security officer pulls their weapon and fires at somebody, you've got to take into consideration, are you going to do more harm than good?
Security guards are regulated by South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. All armed guards must complete 8 hours of certification, plus there's an additional firearms course students must pass.
New tonight, we've learned an upstate man missing since last month has been found dead. The Greenville County Coroner's Office tells us the body of 49-year-old Jim Key was found last night in a wooded area behind Heritage Elementary. Key was last seen July 21st. Investigators released this picture trying to locate him. The coroner's office ruled his death a suicide.
A community watchdog report now. Officials will find out if a mayoral candidate actually lives in the city he wants to lead. Earlier this month, we told you Henri Thompson was registered to vote outside the city limits of Spartanburg. He changed his registration a few days before filing to run for mayor. Spartanburg County Election Director Henry Lay couldn't check into the claims because no one had filed a challenge. Well, today Lay told us someone has challenged Thompson's candidacy. Now the Elections Board will decide if his registration follows the law. A public hearing now scheduled for August 7th.
You've been hacked. Now new information about a push to protect your identity. We've learned the state is a step closer now to protecting your ID. Today, the Budget and Control Board approved the list of items that they're asking companies to provide for credit monitoring. You'll remember information for nearly 4 million taxpayers got compromised in a breach at the State Department of Revenue last fall. Experian was brought in to help protect with free credit monitoring, but the one-year deal will be up later on this year, and now the state is a step closer to accepting a bid from a qualified company.
Happening later this week, regulators will hold a final hearing on a request from Duke Energy to raise your power bill. The South Carolina Public Service Commission has been holding meetings across the upstate since June, public hearings. The last meeting is Thursday night at 6. It'll be at the Commission's office in Columbia. Duke Energy originally asked for a 16% rate hike. Now state regulators say they have reached a deal with Duke that increases customers' power bills about 10% over 2 years. The Public Service Commission has the final say.
New at 6, Governor Nikki Haley is coming to the upstate on Thursday to sign a law protecting K-9 officers like you see here. This is a video from a training exercise in 2012. This new law prevents criminals from suing for damages if they wind up bitten by one of the dogs. It'll be up to a jury to decide whether the K-9 did anything wrong. In the past, the state would usually settle without a trial, sometimes paying out tens of thousands of dollars.
A new requirement for 7th graders to attend school this year, and you can get your child's vaccination for free. What you need to know in a 7 on Your Side Medical Watch next.
Later on, a big backlog to renew your concealed weapons permits. 7 on Your Side wants to know what's the state doing to speed things up. We get answers ahead.
And it looks like we're going to end the month of July with some rain in the forecast. I'll let you know when it will arrive coming up.
And remember, we want to see your weather pictures like this one sent from Barb and Easley. Snap a photo, email it to stormteam7@WSPA.com. It's a new rule for schools. Starting this year, all South Carolina 7th graders are required to show proof of a Tdap shot to attend their school. Parents, both the state and local schools, well, you're going to want to make sure your child's ready for this. Shelby Coates digs into the new requirement for your child in this 7 on Your Side Medical Watch.
And I spaced out the vaccines.
As Gabriella Leggett and other South Carolina parents send their kids back to school, some will see a new vaccine requirement. This vaccine is called Tdap. It protects against whooping cough and other diseases.
It helps protect from tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis.
The state has required the shot for all 7th graders. The state's health agency says this vaccine given to kids loses its effect over time and teens need it again.
That immunity's fading from that shot, so it's best to get that booster to be able to help for future.
Schools across the upstate say they are reminding parents about the vaccine change.
We put notes in the report cards. We put things in our newsletters that went home. We put things on the web.
Spartanburg District 5 even held its own Tdap clinic. Nurses there say they want students prepared.
Kids are very busy in the summers. Families are very busy, but they have to have it to start school.
Dr. Jeremy Bird says he's always encouraged preteens to take the vaccine, but he understands every family is different.
There are alternate vaccine schedules that parents are coming up with, and there are parents that are just not vaccinating, period.
Doctors tell us that Tdap actually protects those in the most danger.
It definitely is the best thing for our communities that everyone gets vaccinated and stays up to date on their vaccines, helps protect those young and that old population.
It's up to each school district on how they handle vaccine requirements, but at 45 days, schools must report your child to the state if they aren't vaccinated. They can't return to school until requirements are met or they qualify for an exemption. In Spartanburg, Shelby Coates, 7 on your side.
Beside the requirement for 7th graders, listen to this. The State Department of Health and Environmental Control recommends the Tdap shot for children ages 11 and up and pregnant women. Starting in August, the agency is offering free vaccines at clinics in every South Carolina county. We have a link to a list of those clinics and the locations near you on WSPA.com.
More than $800,000 to help get your concealed weapon permit faster. 7 on your side wants to know, what is the state doing to find a solution to the backlog in permits? We're pushing for answers next. Well, we have heard from a lot of you who are trying to get your concealed weapons permit, but it's taking longer than the 90 days it's supposed to by law. The State Law Enforcement Division got more than $800,000 in this year's budget to find a solution to that backlog. 7 on your side wants to know where that money's going and what SLED is doing to speed up the process. Here's Robert Kittle getting answers.
The backlog of concealed weapon permit applications and renewals is pretty obvious at the State Law Enforcement Division. SLED employees are entering data and printing approved permits as fast as they can. By law, SLED is supposed to have those permits processed within 90 days.
If you look at the days when we actually have people working, we are under that 90-day window.
SLED goes by 90 business days, not calendar days. During the legislative session this year, there was a bill to raise the price of concealed weapons permits by $25 and make them valid for 5 years instead of 4. The extra money would go to SLED to help them process the applications, but that bill did not pass. Instead, lawmakers put $820,000 in the state budget for SLED to study how to speed up the process and then put that plan in place. Isn't that an awful lot of money, and couldn't that go to hire a lot more people to speed things up?
You're looking at not only the idea of people, but systems, whether it is computer systems, online systems, whatever it may happen to be.
So that money will also go to put in place whatever solution the study comes up with. For example, just hiring more people wouldn't help if they don't have the computers to work on or the space to work. A lot of CWP holders waiting on their renewals are worried about not being able to carry if they don't get their permits in time. But lawmakers also put a proviso in the budget saying permits are still valid while waiting for renewal if the application is made before the permit expires. In Columbia, Robert Kittle, 7 on your side.
Well, we've pulled the numbers on that backlog. Have a look. There are now more than 203,000 people in South Carolina with concealed weapon permits. SLED has nearly 19,000 new applications and renewals pending. It's issued more than 46,000 CWPs since January 1st of this year.
Well, we had some quiet weather to enjoy today. Maybe you're out this morning and noticed that it actually felt pretty nice out there. Well, temperatures topped out mainly in the mid 80s. So we're right now in the lower 80s over at GSP. Some sunshine, a few clouds out there. We're going to hang on to the cloud cover during the evening hours. And if you're going to be out this evening, no problems with the weather. But I think going into the late night hours and through the day tomorrow, rain chances are going to be on the increase. Not raining everywhere all the time, but I think there will be some showers around in the morning. And we're forecasting some thunderstorms by afternoon. High temperatures should once again reach the mid 80s. We'll start out around 70. Over in Asheville, it's been a nice quiet day there as well. 77 degrees is the current reading. 72 by 9 o'clock, 64 in the morning with a chance of a few showers or rumbles of thunder. Better chance of thunderstorm activity as temperatures warm into the mid 70s by tomorrow afternoon. Here's a satellite map. Notice we've had some cloud cover around, a few light showers trying to develop in the northern mountains, but the deeper moisture is still out to our west and also down to our south behind a frontal boundary here. And this is where the best chance of thunderstorms has been this afternoon. None of that's moving our way, but the upper level system that's producing rain across Kentucky back through the middle part of Tennessee is moving in our direction. And the deeper moisture anyway is trying to increase over eastern Tennessee. Look for that trend to continue right into the western Carolinas overnight. And as temperatures warm up and that energy's in place, we'll expect a better chance of some storms to fire up. So Wednesday, 7 a.m., some cloud cover around, a few showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder a possibility as high pressure weakens. This warm front begins to get closer to us. We'll expect some showers and some thunderstorms by evening. And then getting into Thursday, we'll have a little rain around in the morning because a front will be on our doorstep here. During the day, that front is going to try to make progress eastward, but it may not get far enough away from us to take the rain chances away altogether. I think the best chance of rain will be over the eastern Carolinas by 4 p.m., but we could still find a few showers or thunderstorms here as well. Well, if you're headed over to the beach or you know somebody that's at the beach, yesterday they had some rain to contend with. Looks like into tomorrow there's going to be another chance to find some showers and thunderstorms around. Air temperatures will range from the mid to upper 80s, and over in the water it's feeling pretty good. The water temperature now at 82 degrees. Right now across the southeast, 80s and 90s where it's not raining. 90 degrees there in Tallahassee, Atlanta. Hotlanta reporting 90 degrees, 88 in Mobile, also 88 degrees in Birmingham. A little farther to the north, some milder temperatures, but that's because of the rain that's falling. Mid-70s down through Nashville. It's 75 in Hendersonville, Brevard reporting 77, and around the upstate, we're mainly in the lower to mid-80s right now, so that is below average. Our high today officially got up to 85. The average high at GSP is 90. We're now at 82 in Spartanburg, Gaffney at 83, Union's temperature at 87. So for tonight, if you're going to be out this evening, you should be fine. There is a chance still of an isolated shower, but the trend is going to be for rain chances to really increase by very late tonight. Overnight lows mainly in the 60s from Asheville to Brevard. We'll call for a low there of 65 degrees. Tryon down to about 68 degrees. Rutherfordton 68 as well. We'll expect into the upstate for temperatures to eventually bottom out around 70 degrees. Upper 60s from Gaffney down to Union. We'll call for a low of 70 in Anderson, and Elberton should get down to 68 degrees by tomorrow morning. So a mild start to the day, a warm afternoon, and all that warmth is going to help to fuel some thunderstorms in the afternoon. So watch out for that. 84 is going to be the high. 87 on Thursday. Some showers around in the morning. The farther west you live, the better chance of not getting rain in the afternoon. But the farther east you live, I think that front's still going to be in the area, so you might see a few thunderstorms here. It does get out of the way by Friday, though. Friday and Saturday, we're in good shape. Highs will reach the lower 90s into the weekend, but shower chances increase again by Sunday, and scattered showers and storms are back by Monday and Tuesday. Highs will